this historic indictment of Mayor LaToya Cantrell. That is why we are interrupting programming this afternoon. That is why we are joining you on WWL Plus and streaming from anywhere. To bring you the very latest on this situation. Now, the acting U.S. attorney was there, joined by the head of the FBI, Jonathan Tapp. He is the special agent in charge right now of the FBI. One of the things that Michael Simpson had to say is that, quote, times when we are, this is an affront to justice in that Mayor LaToya Cantrell was violating the public trust in a very large way, and that is why they decided to move forward with this prosecution right now. He was asked by Chief Investigator David Hammer about the timing of this indictment, in that she is obviously still a sitting mayor right now, and why not wait until she's out of office in a few months. Basically, what he had to say was that public corruption needs to be addressed whenever they have enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they feel like someone has committed a federal crime. So basically, he made it sound like they don't really take that into consideration, that, once they build their case, once they make their case, then that's when they move forward with an indictment. And
in addition to the timing, we also had a question from David about the, degree. Some of this could, be seen as stemming from an alleged extramarital affair.
Yes.
So what were the stakes to the public? And the acting U.S. attorney addressed that by saying this was not just an affair, but a, quote, years-long continuing fraud scheme.
Yes.
In which the mayor and her police bodyguard, Jeffrey Vappy, are accused of, quote, abusing their power and authority.
Yes.
So he seemed to have a ready response that this was high stakes, a high level of public corruption as laid out in the indictment.
Yes.
They, in fact, put a dollar amount on the travel by Vappy alone to accompany the mayor in instances where they're alleging it was for continuing their personal relationship and not city business, at over $70,000.
Yes.
So that's substantially more than the dollar amount of, I think it was $7,200 or so on the time he was getting paid for police duties in which he was allegedly engaging in this affair.
In this extramarital affair, yes. Now, the U.S. attorney did say that this was not an indictment of someone having an affair, that's not the issue. The issue is the violation, the gross violation, essentially, of the public trust in this case. Here, the U.S. attorney was questioned again about why bringing this indictment now. One of the things that he did have to say was, he said, in this city, public corruption, and I'm quoting here, has crippled us for years and years. And so implying there that the time to act was now, whether that's when somebody's about to leave office, whether that's someone just took office, but in a city where we have a history like this, then, the time to act is now.
Right,
So,
and that's not an official, element within the indictment, but
No.
It's simply casting this in light of what he's calling a history of corruption that erodes public confidence in our elected officials.
Yes, and Chief Investigator David Hammer was at the news conference. Obviously, he was asking some questions of the U.S. attorney. He's joining us now live with the latest on what you heard this afternoon. David, were you surprised by what you heard?
No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, Mr. Simpson said in his planned remarks that the charges against the mayor were not about the relationship that she had with Jeffrey Vappy. They were about the essential cover-up, or the alleged cover-up of that affair, and the use of public funds to do that, and the use of public funds to carry on the alleged affair and to allegedly cover it up and keep people from knowing that they were spending that time together and charging the public for it. That's why I asked, though, specifically about whether they had any concerns about bringing those types of charges. Obviously, bringing those charges means having to then go to court and convince a jury to convict based on charges that really stem at their core from a romantic relationship. And so that's why I asked him that. And he said, you know, we're not going to be driven by those kinds of concerns. They're going to be driven by whether laws were broken, and they believe that laws were broken. They believe they have plenty of evidence of that, and they believe that it was public corruption because it cost the taxpayers money for them to carry this on. So that was his essential response. I was not surprised by it at all.
It's very interesting. Also interesting to me was that the FBI special agent in charge said that this is just some of what the FBI uncovered in their investigation, and he hinted that we would hear more in court, David.
Exactly. He said that it's the adjudication process where we will learn more. We also heard from Simpson that they are looking for more evidence, that this is an ongoing investigation where if there's additional evidence that can be gathered, potentially more charges could be brought. We know that this allegation, this indictment, was a superseding indictment, meaning that they had already charged Jeffrey Vappy last year in that indictment, and then they added these charges on specifically against the mayor. So this is not set in stone before a potential trial. This could be a living, breathing document that they could add to in the future. But absolutely, they continue to investigate this, and the FBI made that clear.